Here now is Solutionaries.
Welcome back. I'm Louis Bolden. Solutionaries is not your typical news show. Every week, our team of journalists go deeper to find the people creating solutions to the toughest issues in our world. A city can pass rules and add police to high-crime neighborhoods with the hopes of reducing gun violence, but that doesn't always work. Today on Solutionaries, we're looking at two different cities, Orlando and Detroit, using a similar approach to prevent gun violence that combines technology with strong community intervention.
Brother, I give you one of these flyers. Can I give you some flyers, man? Trying to prevent violence, man. If you know any youth that may need some additional support, y'all can tell them to come, y'all can give us a call. We're an organization, man, that was born out of the necessity for community to want to get involved and be engaged.
It is very clear that we have a gun violence problem right here in this country. According to the CDC, about 132 people die every single day from gun-related injuries, and it's no different right here in the Motor City. According to stats, about 144 people have died from January the 1st all the way to September the 22nd of 2022. But so many people here are hoping to change that.
We're utilizing what's called the cure violence model to help engage and reduce gun violence.
Here in Detroit, groups are banding together to put an end to violent crime.
Really stopping the shots before they're fired. And so we're looking at it from a prevention standpoint.
According to our recent poll on clickondetroit.com with 318 responses, 45% of people or someone they know have been affected by gun violence. 31% say they don't feel safe with current gun laws, while 36% believe there should be stricter gun laws. With the work that's being done by the city and local organizations to bring gun violence down, of course there are problems, but we'll get to that later.
Can I give you some flyers, man?
Let's start with an ordinary civilian doing all he can to help with gun violence in his community.
We're an organization, man, that was born out of the necessity for community to want to get involved and be engaged.
Minister Freedom is a member of the grassroots organization called The People's Action, a group that's been around since 2015. But it's hard for people to believe they're making a difference. According to our survey, 54% believe intervention from these community groups aren't doing a thing at all. Freedom, however, says it's more complex.
There's not a one-size-fits-all or silver key to stopping gun violence. So it's kind of a compound strategy, and at its basis, we utilize what's called credible messengers. Trying to prevent violence, man. If you know any youth that may need some additional support.
The group uses what's called the cure violence model, literally patrolling the streets in hopes of preventing crimes at some of the most dangerous hours of the night, from 2 to 6 a.m.
We have a team of 6 people who are all from this community. Some of them are former gang members, former people who were once a part of the problem who have now resolved to want to be a part of the solution. Brother, I can give you one of these flyers.
On this day, he's working to spread awareness about his mission by speaking to local businesses.
Y'all having any violence in the community, y'all can tell them to come, y'all can give us a call.
And community members on 7 Mile.
So if you know any young people that need services, that's homeless, that need jobs, that need resources, give them on our card. A lot of times community members, they don't want to talk to the police. They don't want to call the police. They don't want to give the police information. However, if there's someone credible who they know from the community who has that representation and who has that level of respect, it's a lot easier for us to then come in and engage and say, hey, would you allow us to de-escalate this conflict?
I really know about violence from a different type of level, but after the incident occurs, it's really too late. I got a victim.
The plan is to prevent the trigger from ever being pulled. With the use of technology, the city was able to determine the areas hit hardest by violent crime. This map shows the areas in Detroit with the highest concentration of fatal and non-fatal shootings, along with the groups in those areas trying their best to stop it.
This program that we have called Community Violence Intervention, CVI, the short for CVI, that's the preventative arm of it.
His goal is to help drastically bring down crime in the city of Detroit, made possible thanks to federal dollars.
We actually funded it with American Rescue Plan Act money that we got from the White House, that cities and states were awarded so that we can invest in innovative programs to try to find solutions to problems.
Those same dollars are used to go towards resources by the People's Action and other groups involved. part of ShotStopper's creation was inspired by technology the city also uses called ShotStopper.
It's actually helped us save lives, because if no one calls the police is alerted through the technology that a shot was fired within a couple feet of where it was fired from. We have found victims. We have found individuals bleeding out and been able to get them, rush them to the hospital and save their lives. Well, we had it in certain areas on the east side and the west side, and because of the reduction in individuals firing gunshots, and we expanded it citywide.
One problem is that there aren't enough groups to be everywhere in the city at once, yet the deputy mayor isn't losing hope for what's to come.
As we see positive results and we learn from what the groups are doing and they're experiencing success, we have already thought about allowing them to take on more area. As they reduce crime in their CVI zones, the other folks in these areas should just know that we're going to learn, they'll learn from each other, and they can expect something to come to their area as well.
While the responses and prevention efforts are seeing some progress, the ultimate goal is to see a city with no gun crime at all.
It's always been violence, and so we manage it, and so throughout history, it's just the level of it that's acceptable. But I would like to work myself out to business. I would like not to have officers or, but I'm realistic.
I think it's realistic for us to be close. I don't think there'll ever be a time where gun violence won't exist. However, I do think that it's possible for us to build the quality relationships to prevent a lot of those pieces from happening.
And the solutions may not be perfect, but we see the work that can be done when several organizations and agencies all band together for the greater good. They're doing all that they can, but you can also do what you can to help by supporting your community grassroots organizations that are out there trying their best to stop the violence in our communities. Once again, any little thing that you can do to help makes a big difference with this problem that affects everyone.
Imagine the guy that we looked up to on the corner. Imagine he didn't have to sell drugs, and instead somebody was paying him that same salary to just say, hey, change their life. You see what I'm saying?
Rayshawn Brown tried to explain to me what life is like where he's from, Orlando's oldest African-American neighborhood, Paramore.
I think about my own childhood, and I wish who I thought was the coolest guy on the block would come and say, hey, man, come on, man. No, that's stupid, man. Y'all do. People don't realize how far the power of that goes.
Rayshawn realizes it, so he is using his experience growing up to make growing up now a better experience. He finds the coolest guy on the block by asking around.
They are the guys that were doing these same type of acts in the past, right? And we go to them and say, hey, man, how would you like to be a positive impact on your community? And not only that, how would you like to be paid?
Rayshawn hires what he calls neighborhood change associates at the starting salary of a police officer, $50,000 a year. And the job of the change associate is to change through conversation the worst of the worst, the most violent in the community.
Now he has 3 months to find his fellows. It looks like this.
Fellows. Why do you call them fellows?
Because this is a fellowship, right? So the fellow has to meet the requirement, which is most likely to be shot or most likely to be the shooter.
Most likely to be shot.
Because most statistics say that's the same person, right? If you are the shooter, then you're most likely to be shot.
The city of Orlando has never tried anything like this.
This is new. This is directly addressing gang violence across the city of Orlando.
Abe Morris with the City of Orlando is in charge of rolling out the program across the city. It's called Community Violence Intervention, and it's been tried and tested around the country.
Is it getting results?
I mean, if you think a reduction in shootings by 37% across the city, gunshot wounds, a reduction in 31%, and homicides by 9% is getting results, I believe so. That's 58 people less shot this year compared to last year.
It's waking up every day, and we going inside these neighborhoods every day for 10 hours a day, and we working with these individuals. So yes, it's a very intentional approach, and we don't care if they say no. So that's a big part of it. We're gonna contact you every day, no matter what.
Rayshawn also tells me that the change associates are so respected by the fellows, the gang members, that often the fellows will not use violence when the change associates are around. Rayshawn told me a story. He said they were in the middle of two gangs with their guns out, ready to shoot, but they looked at Rayshawn and the change associate, and and decided not to shoot because of that respect in that situation. Eric Von Eichen getting results. News 6.
On the other side of the break, we're switching away from crime and meeting a solutionary helping the forgotten.
We take food around to first responders. Those folks are out working, keeping us safe, away from their families, so we felt it was important to recognize them during that time.
A solutionary is someone who recognizes a problem or injustice in society and comes up with innovative ways to tackle those inequities and, in the process, make the world a better place. Bill Price is one of those people. He's a veteran and retired firefighter who launched a program in his hometown to ensure no first responder falls through the cracks.
The charity really came about a couple ways. My dad was a police officer in New York for 30 years, and I remember when he passed away, he had police from all over the place. And I mean, there was a long procession of police cars, there was the ladder, the fire truck ladders with the flag hanging, the whole 9 yards. And I thought afterwards, I thought, you know, we should think about people and thank people while they're here. Why are we waiting until they're gone and then doing all this stuff when they don't get to see it, they don't get to realize that they have meant something in somebody's life. My name is Bill Price. I am the president and founder of Sirens Salute charity, where we honor and memorialize first responders and veterans. I do feel like they're not being recognized enough, especially for what they go through on a day in and day out basis. They put on that uniform and there's no guarantee that they're coming home after their 8-hour, 10-hour, 24-hour shift. So I believe that they're not being recognized enough, and we should be doing more, and we should be backing them up more. Do I think it was a solution to a problem? I think maybe a little bit, maybe not so much for veterans, because you do get thanked quite a bit being a veteran, but I think our first responders, especially our police officers, aren't appreciated as much as they should be for the jobs that they do and what they have to go through day in and day out. So I do think it was this helps.
It's incredibly special that people aren't forgetting us, you know, I mean, especially in corrections. Not a lot of people think about us being away from friends and family, and it's special. It's really nice to be appreciated by the public and groups like this.
And not only to honor the police officers and the other first responders, but to help educate children that are coming up that volunteer and help with us and see the things that we do for police officers, to show them that these people need to be honored as well. Some of the things we do throughout the year, we go around and clean cemeteries that are overgrown, that may be forgotten, that have veterans in them. We take food around to first responders. Those folks are out working, keeping us safe, away from their families, so we felt it was important to recognize them during that time. We put flags on graves, on veterans' graves Memorial Day. We do Christmas cards at Christmas time. We get the local elementary school children to decorate Christmas cards, and then I hand them out to veterans. We do Veterans Day movie here in Buchanan, free for everybody to come see. We do a Fallen Heroes tree, a Christmas tree that involves putting stars on it for any first responder killed in the line of duty for that calendar year. Some of our limitations are money. Just like everything else with the way the economy and things are right now. You know, it's hard for people to donate to charities, and that's why I try to be very transparent and want to make sure that people know that when they donate to our charity, it's going to where they expect it to go, to first responders and veterans, to honoring them and memorializing them. And volunteerism is down all over. It's very hard with people working sometimes 2 jobs.
There we go, look at that.
Trying to raise a family, trying to have dinner together, to get people to come out and volunteer and do stuff. We've been fortunate in the community where there's certain programs like putting wreaths on veterans' graves. I put the word out and I usually get quite a good turnout. Honoring I can do while they're still here, and I felt that that was important to honor and memorialize them, so that way we can do those kinds of things to thank them and make them aware of the difference that they make, veterans and first responders, every day protecting our community and our country.
Sharing stories like this is a big part of what we do on Solutionaries and on News 6. Serving Those Who Served is a project that highlights local groups getting results for veterans. After the show, check out some of the stories on clickorlando.com. Our final solutionary is also helping forgotten members of society. She's lending a voice to women who have fled their homes to start a better life in the United States.
My name is Florence Aki. I'm the founding executive director of the Refugee and Migrant Women Initiative, also known as RAMWay. RAMWay is really an organization, a non-for-profit organization that works with local refugee women and immigrants from all over the world, but in the Tampa Bay area here in Florida. Our hope is to really bring together women, to empower them, get them to really get familiar with the new community that is welcoming them. There's not a strong structure that helps refugee women when they come to really hit the ground running and be able to go and assimilate easily with the community. This social enterprise gives this opportunity for women to be entrepreneurs and be able to sell, make handcraft items, sell, but also showcase the culture while sharing this with the greater community.
Ooh, that looks beautiful on you. Yeah. So Much Hope is a social enterprise project that strives to create opportunity, community, and also to build learning skills for women who are refugees who are newly resettled in the Tampa Bay area. We sew together several times a month, and then women also can take work home to sew on their own. These necklaces are made from upcycled silk neckties, various metal accents, and wood beads. We have women who come in and their eyes are downcast. They look at the floor. They have been battered by their experiences, and the world has told them over and over and over again that they don't matter, they don't belong, they have no place. And after a little time, sitting in a group of women, learning a new skill, working with fabric. There's something about sewing that can be very healing. And they learn how to make something that they are proud of and that somebody else wants to buy. And all of a sudden, their confidence level builds. And then after a couple months, they're laughing in our groups. And it's really about the sense of pride that you see start to take hold.
I always smile when people say we're the voice of the voiceless. Really, what we like to say at RAMWay, we let you borrow our voice temporarily, and what we do is help those women find their voices back. Some of them, the voices have been reduced to whispers for so long, being on the run or having their human right violated for so long. Finally, they come here. They're able to be established. So what we help them do is bring back that whisper back to a normal tone of voice.
These are our table runners. The center fabric is imported from Niger in collaboration with a women's nonprofit empowering women abroad. And then our signature item are origami tote bags, some of which are also made from fabric imported from Niger, like this one.
There are different ways of giving back, and that's how we measure our success. It's really not a matter of just financial, but how are they making the community better? Do they possess a skill that will maybe bring a solution to something in a community or to an individual life? So this is really the whole concept. Working with the Time Bank have really brought together our mission and vision really line up perfectly, and I think it works hand in hand, so yes.
Solutionaries like Florence, Bill, and Rayshawn are just a few of the dozens of people we featured on the show, coming together to create the change they want to see. If you missed any part of today's episode, or if you want to see more Solutionaries, head over to News 6 Plus. It's an app for your smart TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire Stick, where you can watch all of your favorite News 6 content, including live newscasts and podcasts. You can also sit back and have a window to the cruise ships at Port Canaveral or the birds flying high over downtown Orlando. It's all free on News 6 Plus. Take care.